Living in Australia was supposed to be exciting. Indian teenager in Australia. How different a life, the way classes work, the way friendships form, to student life in Australia, to cultural shocks in Australia, to handling money in Australia, rent, groceries, transport, living alone for the first time. This video is for you. When I first arrived in Australia at 19, the biggest challenge was not the weather, neither accent. It was living alone for me. Back in India, I was used to family being around 24/7. Meals were ready, laundry magically happened, and someone always reminded about school deadlines. Suddenly, I had to figure out everything by myself. Grocery shopping, cooking, cleaning, paying bills, looking after myself, everything landed on my shoulders overnight. If you are a 19-year-old planning to study abroad after 12th, or experiencing international student life in Australia, this is the reality you need to be ready for. Student life in Australia isn't just about classes and exams. It's about handling day-to-day responsibilities while adjusting to a new country. The independence is exciting, but it can feel overwhelming if you are not prepared for it. Here's the thing, India didn't prepare me for coming to Australia. Even small things like taking out trash on time, cooking your meals, or understanding how utilities work were completely new experience for me. You quickly learn that independence comes with steep learning curve, but it also teaches responsibilities faster than anything else. I remember the first week I bought groceries, and by the end of the day, I didn't even know how to store them. If you think living alone is glamorous, think again. It's messy, challenging, and humbling, but also incredibly rewarding. Learning to living alone isn't just about chores. It's about learning to trust yourself, manage your time, and making decisions on your own. For a 19-year-old expat in Australia, these lessons compound into a sense of confidence you never had before. This is one of the first things that changed my teenager's experience in Australia and taught me what true independence feels like. But while living alone taught me responsibility, the next challenge was something I didn't expect at all. That was lesson 2, and it hit me in ways I never thought. Lesson 2. Money teaches you respect. When I first moved to Australia at 19, I thought I understood money. Back in India, I had some pocket money and a few hundred rupees that felt like plenty. But here, everything cost so much more. Rent, groceries, transport, even eating out. Suddenly, I realized the student life in Australia comes with real financial responsibilities. And India didn't prepare me for coming to Australia in this way. If you're a 19-year-old planning to study abroad after 12th or just experiencing student life in Australia, you will quickly learn that money teaches you respect. You will start budgeting every dollar, tracking every expense, and prioritizing what's truly important. It's not about surviving. It's about learning to value your resources and becoming responsible with your own life. I remember my first week I bought groceries without planning, and by midweek I was down to instant noodles and water. Paying rent, buying transport cards, and managing bills felt like a crash course in adulting. Every time I splurged on something unnecessary, I felt the consequences immediately. That's when it hit me. Money is freedom, but it's also responsibility. This lesson isn't just about finances. Living in Australia means facing costs you might have never encountered at home, and how you handle it shapes your independence and confidence. Money taught me more than I expected. It taught me respect for what I have, respect for work, and respect for planning ahead. It's a lesson every international student quickly learns, and one that becomes a foundation for all the other challenges you will face in student life in Australia. And while the money was teaching me responsibility, I was hit with another reality check. The next lesson, Australian cultural shock, which completely changed how I saw the world around me. When I first arrived in Australia at 19, I thought I knew what to expect. I read blogs, watched videos, and even talked to a few friends who have moved here. But nothing could prepare me for the Australian cultural shock. Simple things like how people greet each other, the casual style of interactions, or even classroom dynamics felt completely different from India. If you're a 19-year-old planning to study abroad after 12 or experiencing student life in Australia, you need to know student life in Australia isn't just about classes and homework. It's about adjusting to a whole new way of living. Even daily routines, shopping habits, and social interactions can take some getting used to. I remember my first week in my university. I tried participating in a discussion like I would back in India. I raised my hand at the wrong moments, misunderstood casual jokes, and even struggled with how relaxed people were about deadlines. At first, I felt like I didn't belong. I also realized that Australians are incredibly friendly, but it takes time to understand their social norms. India didn't prepare me for coming to Australia and facing these subtle but impactful cultural differences. For a 19-year-old expat in Australia, cultural differences can be shocking, but also eye-opening. You learn to appreciate diversity, communicate differently, and adapt to more open and relaxed lifestyle. The cultural shock isn't just about feeling out of place, it's about growth. You realize how much living in Australia as an Indian challenges your assumptions, stretches your comfort zone, and teaches you resilience. And once you adjust, it actually becomes the most exciting part of your student life in Australia. Life will keep you testing, whether it's living alone, handling money, or adjusting to cultural shocks. But if you stay grateful for the small wins, you realize you're not just surviving, you're actually building yourself. So if you are watching this and you are in that stage of figuring it all out, remember, every challenge is a lesson and every lesson makes you stronger. Stay grateful, stay consistent, and keep building. I'll see you in the next one.